G'day guys, welcome to PBHQ episode number 213. I'm Dwayne Nichols and I'm coming to you live from Wagga as I do every single Monday. Thank you for joining in. Those of you that are joining in nice and early, I always appreciate that. Make sure you're sharing the episode. Tag your teammates. If you're out at the field on the weekend, at your local field, wherever that might be, let us know. So yeah, let me know who you are, where you are. Did you play on the weekend? Are you playing this coming weekend? Yeah, man, maybe you might be stuck down in Victoria and you're not allowed to play if you're in one of those particular suburbs at the moment. So yeah, drop us a bit of a chat, a comment in the chat. And I'd like to hear what everybody was up to. Elmo's in at the moment. I'm going to mention Elmo in just a little bit later in the show as well. Chris is in. Jez, Will, all thank you for joining in, guys. Chris Thomas as well. So that's a couple of Chris's I'm referring to there. Susan from Florida too. Starting out the show, paintballshop.com, major sponsor of this show. Got an ad for those guys. And I'm interested in this one. And if any of you guys have played mechanical events that went over on the weekend or in the future, I really find it cool that there is aftermarket parts back out there on the market. So for a while now, not many guns have had aftermarket parts outside of maybe a trigger. But this is a pretty cool product. Check it out now, guys.
Dr. James from the Eskimo Brothers, checking in for paintballshop.com. Today I'm here with the M170R. This thing I played the Tamworth big game a couple of months ago with, absolutely rips. I didn't think you could make it any better, but today we've proven that wrong. We've chucked a H-Air valve in there from Deadly Wind, and this thing is a beast. I'll show you some shots of it before. We'll go inside, we'll chuck the valve in, we'll come back out and we'll shoot the bad boy again. All right, so bear with us and we'll have a bit of fun. So that's the M170 with the hair valve in there. So if you don't have one of these in your M170, you are not at the top of your game. This is the gun that was used to help SWAT win that Yarra 10-man. If you want to be up there and rivaling those guys, get one of these and get one of those in your gun.
So there you have it from Jonesy. And yeah, those valves, they make the trigger pull significantly shorter, and apparently the force that you need to exert to pull the trigger quite a bit less too. So for a mechanical gun, you're able to shoot the gun much quicker, which is really interesting. I've seen there's another product getting around by a different company that sort of says that it's offering the same thing. I think it's called the Bang Switch perhaps. But these ones, they're here in Australia. They're at paintballshop.com and you can get your hands on them now. So if you are the owner of an EMEC or a M170R, you've got an option out there to improve your gun even further. And as far as mechanical guns go, they're two of the best options on the market already. So not including having that addition. Jonathan Callan is in at the moment. Jamie Angus is in. Connor from PB Athlete as well. Broderick Ward. Shannon Anderson says that Crisis Paintball in New Zealand had their first post-COVID club day a couple of weeks ago. That is awesome to hear. A lot of people are getting out to play paintball for the first time in a long time over the last couple of weeks, which is great. I hope that everybody at some point that's in the chat has been able to get back out to their local field. Gladiator, the other major sponsor of the show, they've got their player profiles back again this week. This time it's Alistair Fulton from the Marauders. Jason from the Marauders was out last week on the player profile, and this time Al's advice is to practice as a team and play as a team, and that's pretty good advice coming from a team that has won pro events and has a great history of success in the semi-pro and pro division in Sydney, one of the many Gladiator teams, and Al is one of the players. They're using the Ultralight 88 like so many of you do, but they've got a tank for all sizes. If you're looking for that 88, like most players are, hit up places such as paintballshop.com. If you don't want to buy from those guys, or if they're not the one closest to you, you can head to gladiator.com.au and find a whole host of various places that stock Gladiator products, and you can get yourself a new tank by the weekend so that you're out there playing paintball. Broderick says that hopefully New Zealand borders are open soon. Yeah, look, I'm absolutely waiting for that to happen. so we can get some good news about whether we can get over and play in September or October. I think Dave Hopkins was looking at having their next event. So yeah, man, look, I think everybody's itching for that to happen with what's going on in Victoria at the moment. And I might as well talk about that now. The border between New South Wales and Victoria has been closed. Apparently there is something like 55 individual roads and bridges and waterways that people can cross between New South Wales and Victoria, and they're all going to be manned and policed so that nobody from Victoria makes their way into New South Wales with another outbreak of COVID going on down there. This all sort of only kicked up at the beginning of last week. They were starting to see a few numbers again down in Victoria, and I think today was over 100 new cases and a lot of community transmission, which is what's got them so concerned. I know I spoke to Matt Kashadi earlier today. He said that inquiry is down a little bit there because even the people within Victoria, if you're within certain suburbs of Melbourne, you're not allowed outside other than for work and essentials. So paintball is, again, one of those things that's not essential. So people miss out on being able to play paintball. There'd be people that would play paintball regularly that would be missing out on their chance to train. So yeah, it's really difficult. And for example, my field here in Wagga, we're about an hour and a half from the border, and we quite regularly get groups from Albury-Wodonga. I actually have one booked in for this Friday from Albury, a school holiday youth group coming up from Albury, and I tried to call them earlier today, but there's every chance that a fair chunk of the people involved in that group are from the Victorian side of the border. So I'm hoping that I'm going to have 18 players this Friday, but I could end up with less. I could end up with none. And I know that there's a field maybe 15 minutes from the border on the Albury side down there, maybe 20-minute drive from the border itself. So, and they rely heavily on both New South Wales and Victoria. So all those Victorians that would typically play at their field will now be unable to cross the border to play in New South Wales. Jonathan and Jamie both saying something about building a wall to stop the Mexicans. Yeah, look, they've ruined it for everybody. And Connor says that his brother lives across the road from one of the apartment buildings that's being blocked off. That's incredible, man. It's crazy scenes down there in Victoria at the moment. It's a real shame. It affects a lot of paintball businesses, not only in Victoria but also here in New South Wales. Our 3-man coming up this weekend has been affected. Any events in South Australia, there's quite often Victorian teams that would make an effort to go to those ones. So difficult for those guys at the moment. In some good news, the Tim Montressor GoFundMe, they were looking to raise $50,000. As I checked this morning, $53,000 raised. Obviously, it's not good news with the passing of Tim, but the guy getting together $53,000 in like a week or so, maybe 10 days, absolutely incredible. So they've exceeded the goal. So not only will they get the statue built for Tim at the home of the Iron City Classic, but they're looking into putting money aside for the ongoing maintenance, maybe doing some landscaping and dressing the place, dressing the monument up a little bit more so that people can spend time around it with seating and landscaping and that kind of thing. Really incredible that they're able to do that. I just like $53,000. You put that in perspective, that's huge. I think the average annual income for people in the US floats somewhere around the low $30,000. So yeah, for that to come together in 10 days, it just shows you how much of an impact that he had on the game, and that's really incredible. Adam Connolly says it's not like Vic teams come to New South Wales anyway. Well, yeah, they do for the events here in Wagga at least. I know there was one team in semi-pro last year that played pretty much the whole year in sevens as well, but there definitely hasn't been much of a Victorian presence at the Super Sevens events. They have had Victorian. I know Hustle has played the odd NXL New South Wales event, as has Southeast Cartel. But ultimately, even if they wanted to, they can't now, and that's pretty disappointing. Oz saying you got a new sponsorship. Oh, what? Yeah. So that I had that up in the background. I knew for last week's show, Tim Montressor obviously being a huge beer fan, a bit of a connoisseur I had a couple of beers before the show last week, and I put one of them up in the background, and I actually didn't change. I only changed the jersey for the background this week. I would quite often change a few little things. If you're a keen observer, you might notice little things that I change, but only the jersey. Took down the Joy Division jersey and got the X Factor one up there this time around. And in some strange news that probably won't mean much to almost most of you, Adam Connolly, he'd be familiar. M. Carter Brown is a website sort of like PB Nation, but more with a bit of a retro feel. If you wanted to buy a cool retro gun or a cocker or something like that in the States, M. Carter Brown is where you would go. Had a huge range, and that's sort of really what it was known for. I was aware of the website, not sort of familiar with it, I suppose, but the website got taken down yesterday in a sort of a hack attack, and they've asked the hackers, all they've left is a ransom. They've asked the guys behind M. Carter Brown for a ransom to pay to get their website back. So as from what I seen this morning, Will McDonald sent it to me. It looks like they're just going to rebuild from the ground up, which is really strange for a little hobby website in the paintball industry. I don't know what the ransom is. I don't know what their chances of getting a ransom from a website would ever be. I've heard of data being stolen from various places in the past to get ransom back, and I don't think if you were a member of M. Carter Brown, I don't think your data is in any way at risk. But yeah, really strange one there, and there's a lot of paintball history is the main thing behind like the fact that this is really disappointing, because there's so much stuff on there that'll be lost possibly forever if not regathered, by the server hosts or whatever the case might be. Chris saying, don't forget to bribe your refs. Well, he's reffing this weekend, so I'm sure he's open to bribes. And my event, yeah, look, I actually have to step in and play. The one person coming from rural Victoria for this weekend is obviously not able to come now, so I'll be stepping in for him. Jonathan says ransoming paintballers, it seems pointless because they don't have any money. Absolutely true. And Will says it's like PB Nation without the obnoxious aglets. Yeah, that should just about sum it up. All right, results from the weekend. The Yarra 10-man was the only show in town, and Sydney SWAT, or SWAT Recon, I think they go by for the 10-man. They got the win. A few current SWAT players, a few old school SWAT players come together to make a 10-man team in the mechanical version of the game. They beat out the Eskimo Brothers in the final to win the event for the third year in a row. And I know a lot of people are looking forward to seeing Adam Connolly's efforts within 24 hours, as he has done so many times in the past. He's put together this little 1-minute clip with a few highlights from the event, and later in the week you'll be able to see the full highlight video that he'll put together, and he'll post it up, no doubt, on the Yarra 10-man page and the action pages for you to check out. But yeah, quite often it's a struggle on this show to reach out to various media, obviously across Australia, New Zealand, Asia, to get photos right before the show. They come in sometimes. But Adam never lets me down. Came up with a cool video. Check it out here, guys. See if you see yourself. Let us know if you do. It's a real cracker. Check it out now. Yeah, so massive job by Adam to get that together nice and quick. I believe Liz Wybury was the one behind the camera filming, I was told. So Great job to her as well to capture a lot of that action. There was a few bloopers and a few random facts within that. If you didn't see, you might have seen Elmo, who you would be familiar with. I'm not sure if you've seen Elmo's daughter Mia out playing paintball for the very first time with the Wicked Assassins. Apparently she got a flag hang throughout the course of the event, which is really cool to see. Mia's been coming to Wagga for a couple of years, tagging along with Elmo and the various teams he's played with at our 3-man events. And has not been old enough to play paintball, but got out to play on the weekend for the first time, which is really cool. Ranger was, he had some sort of ridiculous, like 30-inch barrel at one point on the go. I have no idea. It could have been, I have no idea. It was huge. It was totally ridiculous. It barely fit in the photo that I seen him post earlier. Connor asking, how do you put that together in 24 hours? Yeah, he doesn't muck around. Tash said that she got torn up. Wybrew said that Mia rocked. That's cool to see. Troy Charlesworth says that Rookie's beard is the ultimate neck protector. Yeah, that's not wrong. And Jono said that he came dead last, but had a blast playing with the Penguin squad at the 10-man. And Adam Connolly said that the scores were epic. SWAT shredded everybody. And Adam plays one event a year. And for the past 3 years, being the 10-man, the team he has played on has won every time. So he's on a real streak at the moment. And it'll be interesting to see if someone or a team can beat the SWAT Recon guys in the coming years, because they some of those old school ballers, Jamie Angus, I can't remember, I don't want to quote him exactly or say that I'm quoting him exactly, but he said those old guys can still ball or something along those lines. So it looks so cool. I really want to get to one of them in the future. I had a first birthday party for my son to attend, which is kind of important too, though. So I was out for this one. Adam Connolly said maybe the Vic All-Stars could come up. Yeah, well, there's the only other 10-man event that's ever happened in Australia in the last sort of 5 years or so has been down in Victoria. And I think they used to get 6 and 8 teams down there. And there's a lot of good players down there, so they might be able to go up and test how they go. Elmo said that Ranger could trip you off the break with that barrel. Yeah, look, it was ridiculous. So check out the photos. Well, there's a few photos floating around. There wasn't a photographer at the event itself, but as I said, Adam will have a video up in the next couple of days, maybe a couple more minutes worth of footage, and I'll of course be sharing that around for everybody to check out. Quick mention too for MacDev. Spoke with Burke sometime through last week, and they have finally restocked the Prime XTS grips. So the grips that are on the XTS that so many people love on their new Primes, you can put them, they're backwards compatible for the first gen Prime. So if you had a MacDev Prime and you want to upgrade it in such an easy way for such a cheap price, $40, you'll get a new set of grips. And I absolutely recommend it. I wasn't even someone who disliked the previous grips. I liked them, but I know there was a lot of people out there that weren't fans of those grips, and you can now upgrade to the XTS ones for just $40. They're over on the website, macdevpaintball.com. Go over there and get yourself a set if you own a Prime. As I said, for $40, it's one of the best upgrades you can do for that one. Wayne said that it was one long barrel. Yeah, look, it's not whether he'll remember it, it's whether his mother would remember my being there, Jono. Come on, mate, that's an obvious one. Stephen says it's an awesome event. Oz is saying maybe the West Coast boys need to get over. They might need to turn the Yarra 10-man into a 2-day event to make it a real thing over there, Mike. It looks like there's some teams keen to make a go of it, and it could be something. Yeah, I mean, there's enough players in Queensland, WA and Victoria that to be able to get teams together to make a real show. It could be a real national highlight for a 10-man event if everybody could get together for it. So, I mean, if you get in early enough and let Mike and the guys at Action know, I'm sure they'll accommodate everybody and make the biggest, best 10-man event that they can, without a doubt. Now, the Wagga 3-man coming up this weekend. Bit of a quick preview for this one. I'm really happy to use this photo of Will McDonald getting shot here. A couple of weeks ago, I was featured in his show, The Collection, which you can check out on YouTube, that I'm a big fan of. He had Tyler Harmon on over the weekend. What a great get. Tyler Harmon filmed a cool video with a bunch of old jerseys that he used to wear back throughout his career. Really cool. But when he used on my appearance on The Collection, he used a less than favorable photo of me for that. So I thought when I was looking for a photo of this event that I could find this one of him. And yeah, I think we'll call it just about even now. This is the first time we haven't sold out all 12 spots at one of our events in nearly 3 years. It's been quite some time, but obviously with the Vic border stuff going on, we had to, a couple of teams were showing some interest from Victoria, but we had to turn them away a couple of weeks ago. A couple of teams from Sydney and stuff, they were also concerned about people from Victoria coming. So we're a few teams short, but we're still going to have a great couple of days down here on the weekend. It's a race to 3 format, 12 BPS on our awesome fully turfed field. I can't wait to get out there. And I've played like 2 points at my events in the past to cover for someone, but with Dave not being able to come over from Victoria, I'm going to play this time as well, which is good given that there's less teams coming. I'll be able to spend less time worrying about the running of everything and trying to do some running from some paint. Mike said Mike couldn't handle 2 rounds according to Jamie. There's a few things being thrown around there. And Mike Wybrew said that I don't think the older SWAT recon guys could survive a 2-day event. Yeah, see, it's the day after. They might need to, and maybe that's the way to beat them. To get them to come back the second day, some of those old bodies getting out of bed on the Sunday morning after a full day of play Saturday might just be enough to get them through. So yeah, I really like that. Will's in the chat, so that's good to see. Troy Charlesworth says that he'll chat to everyone at the 3-man event at TAC Ops in a couple of weeks to see if they could get a Queensland team down for the 10-man. Well, look, see, I'm starting to spin the wheels here and see if we can't get some people happening. And Chris said, yeah, it's the drinks the night between. Oz is saying that he'll put it up to some of the WA guys. So look, it might be happening. I'd love to be the catalyst for this to happen. And if there was teams from all over the country making their way there, well, I'd make much more of an effort to reschedule my son's birthday for a different weekend so that I could be there. Seems fair. Broderick says anybody's going to be sore playing that trenches field. If you guys want to come out Friday afternoon at this state, like I said earlier in the show, I think I have a booking still for this week, provided they're not all from the Victorian side of Albury-Wodonga. So I'll be at the field doing some preparations and running a group anyway, so you're welcome to come out. What else do I have to mention for tonight? Oh, the Paintball in Pop Culture YouTube series that I have started. I'm now 2 episodes deep into this new little venture with Chris Thomas and Will McDonald, who are both in the chat. We've had Nikki T judge Jackass and Nick Sloviak judge This Means War, helping me out on a scoring system that doesn't matter in any way whatsoever, just rating some clips where paintball has been used in pop culture. So yeah, as I said, This Means War and Jackass have been done. I decided earlier today that one of the many paintball scenes from the TV show Community will be up next. I've just got to get that all pieced together. I'm a total novice when it comes to putting videos together that aren't live. What I'm doing right now, I'm pretty well across it after nearly 4.5 years of doing this show. But YouTube content where I have to piece it all together and film the camera in advance and stuff, not really my forte. So it takes me a lot longer to get that together than it does to put an episode of PBHQ together. Chris Thomas says best series ever. I'm sure he's a little biased as well. Will also talking it up, man. Yeah, thanks, boys. Hopefully anybody else might have some positive comments other than the people that are involved. I'm sure my mum thinks it's cool. Shannon Anderson says that 2-day events are killer. Day 2 welts on welts. Yeah, look, we've all been there. It's absolutely just part of the game, but it's also the fun to keep rocking up. And I should mention too, Tash, who is in the chat as well, or was at least earlier, she's got a YouTube channel called Velma35 where she's been putting up a little bit of content from like the 7-man and the 10-man. I'm sure she'll have some stuff there. I seen her GoPro in Adam's footage earlier. She asked earlier in the week, she sent me a message and asked if I could ask what people want to see from paintball content from Australian content creators. So if there's anything in particular, and I mean, I'm a beneficiary of your advice here too and your feedback. If there's anything you want to see as far as content from Australian content creators, throw it in the chat. Let people know if Tash is going to be out there filming games with her GoPros throughout the course of all the events that she's playing. And I know there's other people that have done it. Ryan Newman's had stuff up in the past, as have many others at various times. I think Chester in Sydney has done a little bit as well. Yeah, if you have any suggestions for what you want to see, whether that's gameplay footage, if it's stuff like paintball in pop culture, obviously. I'd like to think that PBHQ has like the news side of things pretty well covered, but if there's anything like that you'd like to know more about or see more of, drop it in the chat so that we can chat about it, and hopefully that people like Tash, who's editing right now, she says she can create that stuff so that you're more likely to see it. And apparently Will shouted Tash out on the collection as well, so that's good to hear. You should always be subscribing to these people's channels. Mine included, Will's, Wimpy617. Get over and check these guys out. Subscribe to their channels. It means a lot if you watch the content that they create, because you put a lot of effort in to putting these videos together, which I'm only becoming more and more aware of at the moment. Troy says, check out the old Baywatch episode. They had spiders going full order. Yeah, look, I've for paintball in pop culture, I've already saved that video aside. So that will be in a future episode. The drawing power of David Hasselhoff. I'm sure I'll get millions upon millions of views on YouTube, specifically with Germans and in some smaller, more obscure Asian countries where I'm pretty sure he's some sort of demigod. So yeah, the David Hasselhoff is a huge draw, and I look forward to using his power to grow my channel. Upcoming events. The TAC Ops 3-man, Troy said earlier today, 14 teams have signed up for that. And rumor on the street is that Hostile Intentions, a name that some of you haven't been around paintball long enough to have even heard of, a team with, you could say they had a little bit of success in Australian paintball. Those guys will be making an appearance at the TAC Ops 3-man, which, yeah, look, if they're not the bookies' favourite nice and early off the back of those guys getting together, I wouldn't know who is. Then Mossy at Ultimate Paintball in the south of Sydney. He's throwing together like a little charity day in place of their NXL event that wasn't able to go ahead. They're doing no entry fee, $100 a box of paint. And some of that money is going towards a charity. I know Mossy spent time, and I don't have all the details. He has spent time in Africa in the past helping out a charity over there. And some of the money that from that event that is raised will be going to that charity that he and his family have worked with quite closely over the course of the years. Yeah, Brandon Miller here, the PB athlete poster boy these days. He's got the big sign up on the side of the loader there. This photo from the 7-man on the hyperball field. He's also wearing the Eskimos PB athlete jersey, so I thought it was a pretty good crossover there for the show and one of our sponsors, PB Athlete, to get up here on the show. Elmo is saying that in the one of the Austin Powers movies, there was an auto mag, so that's interesting. I'd have to go through and check that out, because there is a number of films and TV shows where paintball equipment has been used, but not in a paintball sense. They've used it as tranquilizer guns, or they've used them as tasers and that kind of thing. I know in one of the Scary movies, they do a rip-off of the 8 Mile scene with Eminem shooting a paintball gun, and I don't think they use an actual paintball gun, or yeah, anyway, it's there's so much, and I've got already a huge catalog of paintball in pop culture to use, and I'll be sharing it over the next couple of weeks. And all I can ask is you guys check it out on YouTube, drop a comment in the comment section over there too, subscribe to the channel, and hopefully something continues to grow and grow. Chris Thomas says that it's a West Kenyan orphanage that he works with. So yeah, look, any charity's worthwhile supporting if it means you've just got to play paintball to do it and you don't have to do anything extra. So if you're in Sydney, get yourself out and play that one. Oz is saying that there's a bushball event in WA this weekend. Would that be at Disneyland? I'm guessing they're the only field up there that I really know that does scenario type games in the past. So yeah, if that's where it is, which I'm only guessing at this stage, I could very well be wrong, but yeah, get out and play some scenario paintball or bushball out in WA if you're out that way. Birthdays for this week: Nathan Dunn, he keeps everything running. Well, I see Wybrews in the chat says, oh, he's actually saying in Cyborg they used paintball guns as well, so I wasn't aware of that. But yeah, Mike can probably tell you how much Nathan keeps things running around action paintball venues. He's celebrating a birthday, as is Cam, Yowie, Axel, who's in the photo here by Harvalium out at the recent NXLWA event. Archer Asawan, a long-time supporter of this show, and David from WA as well. Couple of Bush Pig birthdays this week there. I don't know if the guys are aware of how many of them are having birthdays this week, but happy birthday to all of those guys. Will McDonald seems to remember Cyborg. And the weird part about me doing this whole paintball in pop culture thing is that for the most part, I'm not widely across a lot of pop culture, but from doing just a little bit of research, I found way more paintball in pop culture than what I had originally been aware of. So there's heaps of content, heaps of episodes to come. Heap of special guests, like I mentioned, Nick Sloviak and Nikki T have helped in the past. Wybrew saying that Nathan is a legend and the action would fall apart. Yeah, to be fair, every time that I drop in to action on a weekday for something for my field in the past, Mike and Adam and John, they're usually keen for a chat in the office, and Nathan's running back and forth. I don't think I've ever really had much of a chat to him because he's always just working, unlike the other fellas perhaps. So happy birthday to all the Bush Pigs and everybody else there. Bit more... What, have I stoked the fire with Wyburn? Yeah, don't know. Just throwing some stuff out there. Hopefully it sticks. It's all in good fun. Thank you for checking out another episode of PBHQ, guys. I really appreciate it. If you can hit the like button, the love button, and the share button, I encourage you to do that. And I'll see you all again next Monday. Good night, guys. Bye.